Switch from Halifax to our provincial rivals, the St. John Sea Dogs, and now I don't even know where he is. Like usually he's in a junior rink, so you assume he's at a training camp. But with none of those left, he could be in an NFL rink or NFL stadium. He could be in Kansas City getting ready to go. We never know where the dude is. We tracked him down again. Good friend of the show. We just figured out he is leading the most episodes as a guest on the show. Mr. Jamie Tozer, how are you and where are you?
I'm doing well, guys. Thank you very much. Truly honored to be leading the leaderboard as well. So thanks for having me back. I'm just in St. Stephen, actually. Nowhere too crazy.
Oh
Nowhere too.
And still preseason for everyone, right? Still preseason. So
in fairness, we recorded this on Tuesday, so your flight to Kansas City leaves when this comes out. Like, have you been to Arrowhead? Are you doing NFL stadiums? What's before we get to the Sea Dogs? What's next on the stadium venture?
Well, you know what? I've actually never been to an NFL game, which is weird.
What?
Yeah, never been to an NFL. I think I've only been in one NFL stadium ever, actually, which is weird
concert,
too.
Right?
What's that?
And it was for the T Swift concert in Gillette.
Yeah. No, what's next? So I got the 2 new CHL rinks. That's kind of the big quest this season. So yeah, hopefully, knock on wood, knocking those off this fall. But starting to do college hockey, which I know the CHL probably won't be too happy about. But really looking forward to doing a lot of these college rinks. Some of these college rinks look awesome. And I mention this all the time. One of the best college rinks in the U.S. is the closest one to us, University of Maine. Unreal experience if you've never been down there.
Yeah, on our way to the draft in Sherbrooke, we were talking about CHL, and I mentioned, I don't know why CHL doesn't come to Maine, and Mr. Boucher said they would be killed. Yeah. The Black Bears would take...
There is a market.
Yeah.
When you walk
it's a fun time, though.
When you walk into the gas station and see the Maine Black Bears everything, there is a market for that. So from one blue and black team to your blue and black team.
Nice transition.
Thank you.
Nice transition.
I was practicing. I was really hoping he was going to talk
good.
about Maine.
Yeah.
What's happening? Guys are going in, out. It's wasn't very much fury at the draft for the Stella era, but preseason one. I mean, Cole Burge is out. Olivia Bordeaux is out. Mateo Mann comes in, and then you signed the Leve, the goaltender? Lever. See, my Alberta thinking French kicks in when I see that name that sounds like it should be pronounced French. Comes in as the vet. I mean, quite an off season so far, quite a training camp for the Stella era.
Yeah, not a ton of quantity of moves, but like the moves that were made were certainly impactful. Like you mentioned, pretty quiet draft, and even looking at the roster, there's only a couple guys from that draft class, or 2 or 3, 4 guys from that draft class that are probably going to be on the team all year. So kind of an uneventful draft, which is kind of what we expected, just given that they didn't have any first round picks. But yeah, certainly the Burbage trade was a big deal. Probably puts St. John back a little bit this season, but certainly for 2 first-round picks, that's a trade I don't think anyone could have turned down.
Nope.
So it kind of is what it is. Certainly will probably hurt St. John this season. I think they're going to have a hard time scoring. There's not a lot of proven offensive weapons that are kind of older, and other than Peter Reynolds, obviously, the 2 imports, Matejko and Simic. But kind of beyond that, they're open guys, really step up front, and have a few surprises as well. So kind of see where that goes. But the defense is really interesting. For a rebuilding team, this is kind of an older defense group, which is kind of odd. They got Mathis Gauthier they traded for at the draft. They brought in Mateo Mann. So 2 older guys that are going to be able to kind of provide some Q experience to a rest of the group. And they've got some returning guys, Nate Tivy, Joseph Iannello, Nicola Bilodeau. All 3 of those guys are pretty impressive last year. And then kind of complementing that group is 2 rookies, and Matthew McLean, who's a 17-year-old rookie, and then Benjamin Amiot. Both of those guys look really good in camp. So an interesting defense group. Kind of curious to see how they play defensively. But of course, this is St. John's Sea Dogs preseason hockey, so there's obviously questions in goal, like there is pretty much every year. I really don't know what to expect in that. They're gonna have, looks like Patrick Lever, who's an OA from Ontario, comes in. Had just okay numbers in the OHL, so we'll kind of just see how he goes here in the queue. Looks like Justin Robinson, who was a 2022 pick, is going to be the backup. That's not confirmed yet, but looks like he's going to be the number 2. So two guys in net who have no queue experience. Obviously, Lever has some OHL experience, but brand new to the queue. So once again, the Sea Dogs are going to enter the season with some questions in that. So we'll see how that goes.
The acquisition of Matteo Mann, I think, caught a lot of people off guard just based on, I guess, the direction the Sea Dogs are going in. Over under 3.5 months of how long he plays for the Sea Dogs.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I think he could be here all year. We'll see, though. I think he could be here the year. But yeah, I don't think there's any real secret that I think the Sea Dogs hope that man comes in, is excellent, and they can flip him for more than what they got him for. I don't think there's much secret. I don't think there's much secret about that.
So we'll go with the under on 3.5.
I'm taking the over.
Well, over would be January,
so
yeah,
he's going to give them a couple games. Then when they come back just before the World Juniors ends.
So it's going to be so if he's traded by let's say December the 20th, then it's the under.
Yeah.
Anything past December 20th is the over. Is that how it works?
I think so.
Let's do that.
Peter Reynolds probably won't play the full season here, eh?
I will be surprised if he does get traded. I think they're going to have a hard time dealing him. This is, from everything I know, I think if Peter Reynolds wants to be traded and there's a team available that wants him and he's willing to go there, I think that trade will happen. But I'm just not sure that's going to happen. I think it kind of just depends on the contending teams. If they have a need for an overage forward, I could see them reaching out and trying to work out a deal with Peter Reynolds. But I think the team has kind of accepted that he's probably going to be here for the year. But I think if they can work out a deal, great. But if not, I think they're kind of okay with him being here for the year. And again, like this team's probably going to struggle offensively. So him being here for the year isn't going to be a bad thing.
The only reason I ask is the guy we just had on, Willie Paloff. That's a team that needs another 20-year-old, needs a little bit of depth scoring. And last time a Sea Dog went over there, it worked out pretty well. I mean, they technically said he scored 50 goals, but really not quite all for them. But hey, that is what it is. But yeah, I mean, if you're not scoring, you're going to need some players coming back that can maybe put the puck in the net. And Halifax isn't even in a position where they got some young fourth liners that can score that they can move for Peter Reynolds. So it'll be an interesting decision on where they go with him. But I guess obviously it's a lot easier when you've got the banners hanging in the rafters. But only 2 teams missed the playoffs. What is the expectation for this team? Is it to make the playoffs? Is it to get past the first round? Like what is the expectation on this club? Or is it get to Christmas and stock some more of the cupboards if we can?
Yeah, I definitely think that I wouldn't be surprised to see this team take a step back after Christmas. I could see them dealing a lot of their older guys if they can. Again, they're still a little light in draft picks, even though, they're going to be almost 2 years removed from that Memorial Cup season. They're still light on picks. And I think they're going to look for ways to help supplement that as much as they can. So we'll kind of see what happens. I'm sure they're hoping that some of these older guys they brought in can kind of deliver and they can deal them for more than they were brought in for. But we'll kind of see. I definitely think, I'm sure the expectation, or I'm sure the hope, is that they can kind of improve upon where they finished last year. I think the Sea Dogs were probably a little bit better than what most of us thought last year. And I'm sure they're hoping that they can take a little bit of a step forward this year. And certainly with Bathurst and Charlottetown in the division, should have some competitive games there at least. So, I definitely think the goal is to make the playoffs again and maybe improve point-wise from where they finished last year. Still a bit of a transition year, that there's not that young core isn't quite in place yet. I think this time next year we'll probably see a little bit more of the young core of the future and a bit more of a true direction kind of finalized for this next era for the Sea Dogs.
We'll touch on the Sea Dogs' first pick of the draft last summer. A bit of a surprise, Egan Beveridge. What are your, I guess, initial thoughts on his play so far in camp?
Yeah, I watched him at the rookie camp in the summer, and then again at training camp. Pretty obviously a highly talented forward, really good skater. Kind of has the extra step that elite forwards can have. Has a really good shot for a player his age too. But what stood out in the preseason games that I don't think any of us really quite knew about is his style of play. I would be willing to bet that over the next few years, Egan Beveridge might be the most talked about player on your podcast who's not a Wildcat. I think he is going to be very disliked by visiting fans and visiting players. He plays very much a Brad Marchand style. And he's kind of small. He's small like Marchand too, and he can score like Marchand. We'll see. So I think he's going to be a very well-known player in the queue, and I'm curious to see how his style kind of adapts to the queues. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
You said you had one more question.
I mean, are you going to Nelly and T.I.? I guess that's one more question.
No, I'm probably going to pass on that.
I saw the tickets. I'm like, $140. What? I know like one T.I. song, and it's with Rihanna, and I know he ain't coming. So
I also think parking's $10 for that, which is quite high.
Unless I know somebody in the St. John area that could help me out with tickets, maybe. Mm-hmm. But a Thursday night, Nelly, I'm just at that age where I'd just rather watch YouTube.
Well, if you want to go take a ride with me, it's... let's lead into the final question here, Jamie, because I know things are bumping in St. Stephen on a Tuesday night here. So we want to get you downtown there. So I know it's early here. Games haven't started for real, but let's get your premature no, I can't say it. Jill Corto Championship Series prediction.
I'll take Halifax and Rouyn-Noranda, and
2 for 2.
Unlike 2019, I think Halifax is going to pull this out. Even though if they played right now, I think Rouyn-Noranda would win, but I think Halifax will do what they have to do to improve.
Right. 2 for 2. Both you and Willie had the same prediction. I thought maybe one of you might go Drummondville, but again, like we said to him, we're going to hold you to it. We're going to pencil it in now, and then we hand you off on the Maritime Trade shows. We'll give you one chance to redo if you'd like, or stick with those selections after. If that's fair.
Sounds good.
You know? All right, yeah. That's it. I mean, when it's preseason hockey, there's not a lot going on, right? So, once again, valued guest, we truly appreciate you giving us the time and adding one more notch to your guest lead.
Awesome, thanks, guys.
Yep.